What's going on, everybody? Admire the extremely dirty truck. All the pollen's been playing havoc. Get a little bit of pollen, get a little bit of moisture. Makes for a really nice custom paint job. Anyways, hope everybody's doing all right. Just a little update on the MTVR. I desperately need to get some driving videos in, some off-roading videos. Doing some diagnostics, figured out that my middle axle has not been locking like it should. That has contributed to some of its clumsiness off-road. But quick tidbit, managed to finish the winch a little while back. I've been doing some testing on it. I pulled my parts 5-ton and my deuce and a half out of the backyard with it. Let's see, I still got to do some minor detail work. I'll set y'all down for just a minute. Still got to do some minor detail work here. I want to actually organize these batteries a little bit better, but I got these two brand new X-side batteries for, like 50 bucks. Couldn't turn them down. Crimped my own connections, heat shrinked everything except for this crossover terminal. I ran out of heat shrink tubing. I'm gonna wrap that up, finish that. I ran 4/0 gauge wiring all the way from the battery box over to the frame rail, and then it runs along the inside channel of the frame rail, over, continues, and then eventually it comes out right here with a quick connect plug. Very heavy duty. It is rated for, the one that I specifically got, if I remember correctly, is 450 amps. And it's definitely overkill. I ended up going with a Sherpa 25K winch. Been fairly impressed with it, but I can pick this winch up and tote it comfortably. The Warren winch, you could forget about it. The thing was just simply massive, which, most all military hardware is overbuilt. The thing that I'm disappointed with concerning a Sherpa winch, this is the Sherpa Stallion 25K. The relay box here, where you actually supply it with power, look at this wiring. It's 0 gauge at best. I understand that it is going to be a moot point by the time that you actually run 4/0, so the voltage drop and amperage is good by the time it gets up here. But it's still, man, yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I'm overkill on everything. But I got this thing wrapped up. I'm going to take this off one last time, pull the winch one last time, and probably scuff it up and shoot it green, so that way it's not caution cone yellow. Noticed one minor issue here. If you're going with a MRAP Alpha bumper, the cable will actually rub right here on the inside edge. So you need to take the time to take out about 1/2 inch on both left and right side of the hole. Otherwise, the winch bolts right in. It's beautiful. I've got it mounted in the strongest fashion possible, with the bolts going forward towards your load, so it prevents shear, and it puts all the loading onto the case itself. Works beautifully though. It pulled the deuce and the 5-ton chain together out of my backyard, but no problem. But as you know, the 7-ton is actually close to 30,000 pounds. And even a 25,000 pound winch may not always be adequate. So I went ahead and picked up a Skookum winch, model 62. It's very nice. It's still, some would consider it a little underrated with a safety factor, rated at 20 tons with a 2.4 to 1 safety factor. But really and truly, how many times are you going to need more than 40,000 pounds pulling on a truck? Now, the factory lead on this thing will allow you to plug into your control box for your winch, and it's going to put you around the side here, standing with your controls, which isn't exactly wonderful. They do make a wireless kit. I opted for the extra 50 bucks to get that, and it just came in. It was back ordered, so I'm anxious to test that out from inside the cab on my first recovery next chance I get. Next on the list, I need to check the alignment on the rear tires, there is a minor cupping action going on here. The rear axle is cupping on the driver's side, the outside lug, while the rear intermediate axle is cupping on the inside lug. As some of y'all may not know, the MTVR family is set up to where pretty much any of them can be converted to rear steer, and the tractors actually are rear steer while in military service. I'm sure they'll probably tack weld all the rear steering together before they release them, but nonetheless, you can adjust the alignment back here, and it is important. I don't notice any side tracking, but here it is, nearly 5,000 miles I put on the truck, and I'm starting to get a slight bit of cupping, so that's one of the telltale signs that I may have an alignment issue going on here. And the inside on the rear is cupping, and I'm not noticing much off of the rear intermediate on the passenger side. Broke it down on the other day and actually replaced one of the tires and sold it off, and so we're making progress on the truck. It's not very fast. Another thing that's pushing right now is I'm still fighting air conditioning issues. That's why I haven't went any further into the install. The install is complete. The AC works wonderful. The issue that I'm having, and I've been checking it with Caterpillar ET software, is the AC will come on and run, but it does not accept input to actually turn on the cooling fan. So truck runs great. Eventually it'll dump the entire refrigerant charge at idle. When the pressure becomes too great, it'll blow it out the overflow, or the pressure protection valve rather, out of the back of the compressor. Not fun. It coats your windshield with oil. So I tuned it to accept input from the pressure switch. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and climb under here and I'll point it out. I tuned it to accept input from the pressure switch, and the pressure switch, for some reason, whether the pressure switch plugged in, unplugged, whatever it is, I can't remember from the email talking to Oshkosh, it's either a normally open or normally closed. I cannot remember which. And it's performing like it should, but it never interferes with it. Even with the AC off, it constantly, even with it working like it should, it constantly runs the cooling fan on the truck. And I mean, it contributes to less horsepower making it to the ground, excess noise, more fan clutch wear. It's just not good. You don't want your fan running when it's not needed. Let me set y'all down for just a second. All right, so we're up here again. So on the AC deal, this is the switch that I'm referring to. Ended up swapping it out for another one. In the Oshkosh diagram, it states that the binary switch is supposed to be here. And the dryer, you'll notice it has a male with a female line that connects to it, and it has a female portion on the dryer with a male line that connects to it, and therefore ends up feeding your thermal expansion valve and your evaporator. Man, it's just, I talked to Oshkosh about it, and they said swap the binary switch. Even though the diagram for the AC kit says binary switch is supposed to be on this side, they said swap it. I did swap switch out with another one that I had. Nonetheless, it still doesn't work. So still dealing with that. Computer's constantly seeing input to run the cooling fan regardless of the AC being on or off, or whether the pressure is high or low. Gonna have to diagnose into that a little further. I've got probably, I don't know, close to 14, 15 man hours invested in it, and eventually when I conquer it, it's going to be one of those aha moments, but in the meantime, it's kicking my butt. Managed to score 2 spare tires and wheels. Tread isn't exactly great on the tires, but MTVRs do not come with spare tires. So managed to score 2 of those for, I think it was like 40 bucks. Well worth the while. But yeah, thank y'all for being over 100 subscribers. I appreciate y'all chiming in and commenting on videos and making suggestions and such, and I will be sure to get y'all some off-road videos here very soon. And I don't know, maybe pulling a truck or 2 out. Don't get much of an opportunity to exercise my winch, it seems, at least yet. All right, guys, till next time, see ya.